Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Today is April 21st, 2026, and we are here for our Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room at our Administrative Services Building for Larimer County Board of County Commissioners in Fort Collins. And we are here to have this meeting. I call this meeting to order, and would you all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand if you're able. Thank you all for joining us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Again, welcome. Good morning. I'm Larimer County Commissioner Jody Shad McNally, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. I'm so glad our room is full of some amazing folks and my buddy Zion. So I wanted to, of course, love it when Zion's here. I have a fan page. I follow him on Instagram. But anyway, all seriousness, we're here for this meeting today at the dais. Commissioner Stevens is excused today. She's down in Denver doing some negotiations with the governor's office and folks on legislation on human services. So we wish her luck with that. It's important work. And I'm also joined by Commissioner Kofalis. We're here with the clerk to the board who does such a great job. Thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay Tracy, appreciate you being here this morning, Lindsay. We have our county manager, Lorenda Volker, Tom Clayton from our commissioner's office and public information office. Good morning, Tom. He's going to be taking some pictures later. And Sarah Martin from the commissioner's office. Sarah, thanks for all you do. And if Brenda and Melissa are listening, thank you too for all that you do. We're going to start off the bat with public comment. We have one person signed up for now, and so we'll go ahead and invite Elizabeth Falkenberg. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Yay! And please join us here. You'll have 3 minutes. Would you please identify yourself and where you're from, and welcome.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Falkenberg, and I live in the city of Loveland. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm here to address the parking ordinance currently being considered by the county. I understand there are valid reasons for developing this ordinance. However, my primary concern is the unintended consequences. It is critical that the county engages with a broad range of community members, especially those directly affected by housing insecurity, to fully understand how the policy could affect them. This kind of engagement can be done with local organizations and mutual aid groups. I spend most of my week on the streets working with multiple groups to support housing insecure members of our community. From the mobile laundry to the community kitchen to mutual aid efforts. My focus is to make sure people know that they are not forgotten, especially when it feels like society has just turned their back on them. Since the camping ban was enacted in Loveland, I have seen a noticeable increase in fear among our unhoused neighbors. People are being woken up in the middle of the night, cited, and then arrested for simply trying to rest. When this happens, their belongings are often left behind. I have sat with individuals in tears because they have lost everything they've owned while they were sitting in jail, and it has been removed by our city's contracted cleanup crews. I cannot overstate how frightening this is. With more ordinances being proposed, many feel like just surviving is being criminalized. I've also had my own experiences with this. I have been stopped by the Loveland police at night when walking home. Once I showed identification and informed them I was housed, their attitudes completely changed. That moment was very deeply unsettling to me because I saw how having housing makes a police officer interact with our citizens. Given the current economic conditions, living in vehicles and camping has become a reality for most of our neighbors. Imposing fines on people who are already struggling financially risks pushing them further into hardships and into our court systems. I urge the city to consider looking at doing safe parking lots and camping lots that also has a low barrier option included. We need to strike a balance that addresses the concerns about abandoned property, but also provides safe legal options for people who have nowhere to park. Thank you for your time on this matter.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for your public comment. Okay, I don't see anyone else online. Sarah, let me see if there's anyone online who wanted to do public comment.
No, Commissioner.
Thank you. I will open it up to anyone else in the room who would like to do public comment. If so, yes, sir, please approach the podium and you'll have 3 minutes and identify yourself and where you live. Thank you.
Eric Sutherland, citizen of Fort Collins, and I can't tell you just how relieved I am that we have finally come to the solution to what the problem is and its origins. See, the problem isn't that we had a community that bastardized our taxation system, made a mockery of the Urban Renewal Authority, our systems of taxation, public education, and even county government. That's not the problem, is it, Commissioner Gonzalez? The problem is the people who come forward to complain about it, right? Yeah, that's the problem. And so, damn those people. Forget about what they have to say. Honestly, guys, the Board of County Commissioners at this point in time, and this is 25 years in being a close observer of all local government, county government not excluded, the Board of County Commissioners at this point in time is the least effective, the least capable, the least engaged that I have ever seen. And it's by an order of magnitude. Right now, you've got a community, Timnath, that has refused to follow legislation that previous boards of county commissioners managed to push through the legislature. Not an easy task, considering the opposition from municipalities to any sort of change to the urban renewal law. That legislation required them to reconstitute their board. There is nothing in the statute whatsoever. You cannot be found. It doesn't exist there. Nothing to suggest that there's some sort of trigger mechanism that only requires them to make this change if and when you file a new Urban Renewal Authority plan or modification. That just doesn't exist. That's a myth. And and here's the thing. Gosh, Commissioner Cavalis, you missed your big chance. You could have retired with a commissioner of an urban renewal authority there on the list of credits. But you guys ignored the requirements of law, ignored the very basic, not even really that effective, but at least it's something, requirements that the legislature did put in place. And as a consequence, we're tens of millions of dollars short in the public realm. And the Poudre School District owes the taxpayers $35 million for overcollected taxes. And there's no sign that they're going to do anything to keep that number lower next year, etc. Big problem, but at least we now all know. The problem were the citizen activists. Thanks.
Anyone else like to make public comment? Please come on up. Identify yourself and where you're from, and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, County Commissioners. My name is Adelie Inhofe, and I hold a Master of Public Health and a Master of Social Work. And I work in Larimer County, supporting government agencies and local organizations in evaluating how their programs can more effectively reach their intended goals. I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the proposed ordinance regarding camping and extended vehicle parking in unincorporated areas of the county. First, I want to acknowledge that the concerns raised by residents and businesses are very real. Issues like abandoned vehicles, illegal activity, or disruptive behavior can affect people's sense of safety and their ability to use their property, and those concerns do deserve our attention. I spend time weekly with my unhoused neighbors in Fort Collins, and I feel a deep responsibility to share that perspective. The unhoused folks that I chat with do not want to be living outside. They talk about wanting basic stability, being able to shower, do laundry, cook a meal at home, and sleep safely. But without enough shelter beds or permanent housing options, many people simply have nowhere else to go but the street. Until Larimer County can ensure adequate shelter or housing options, enforcing ordinances such as the one proposed raises constitutional concerns. In 2021, a Larimer County District Court overturned a resident's conviction for sleeping in his vehicle, finding that enforcing camping restrictions without available alternatives violated protections against cruel and unusual punishment under the U.S. Constitution and the Colorado State Constitution. Should this ordinance go into effect as written, the county is opening itself up to liability and potential legal action. Policies that increase law enforcement engagement with unhoused residents often do not solve the underlying issue. Instead, they tend to move people from one location to another while raising costs for the county. Unhoused individuals experience chronic conditions at 2 to 3 times the rate of the general population and usually have multiple comorbid conditions. When people enter the jail system, the county becomes responsible for their medical care, which can be costly. Public county inmate data from last week showed about 17% of the inmate population was transient or unhoused. Medical services accounted for 88% of the inmate services budget in 2025, which equaled around $12 million. It also feels important to note that leaving it to law enforcement discretion as to whether a vehicle is abandoned leaves our officers vulnerable to accusations of discriminatory enforcement. In order to protect both our unhoused folks and our officers, I would encourage the county to identify a different method for making that determination. Finally, I strongly encourage the county to explore more cost-effective alternatives that also protect the constitutional rights of the poor and unhoused, such as designated safe parking areas which are implemented in the Denver metro area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your public comment. All right, anyone else? Okay, we'll close public comment. Want to thank those who have given public comment. I'm sure Commissioner Kavalis and I both have some comments to make. We will, I guess I'm still going to make some of those even though he's left. Commissioner, would you like to start?
Yes. So thank you to Elizabeth and Atlee. I appreciate your engagement. I encourage you to continue engaging. I haven't responded to your most recent email, Atlee, but I will do so later today and see if we can schedule a time to meet. As I indicated in my emails, this is a complicated issue. We need to seek a compassionate and balanced solution to what we have been observing over the last number of years. Certainly very sensitive to the needs of folks who are homeless or unhoused. And with Elizabeth, we happy to meet with folks and have that conversation because it's too difficult to do it in response to an email blast or one who has composed an email, personal email. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I will thank Elizabeth and Atlee. And yes, I have gotten your emails. I'm still crafting those. There are a lot of emails, but I wanted to just say first, this is a ordinance that was brought forward by Commissioner Kavalis that's been working with attorneys and housing, homeless experts and housing experts. A lot of folks have been at the table. It's not been taken lightly, and a lot of folks have had feedback, people who have actually been working in the homeless space. And so I wanted to make sure you know this work is been stakeholder and a lot of feedback from a lot of folks. It is a complicated process. We haven't even scheduled the hearing for even looking at the ordinance. We appreciate your engagement and providing that feedback. This would only apply to unincorporated parts of the county. So it has nothing to do with what's happening in Loveland and other things. It's not really, when I hear camping bans, this is not a camping ban. I just feel like this ordinance is something different. And we're the only agency right now, I think in Larimer County, that doesn't have something we're kind of the donut hole that doesn't have something. And there's some things with, as Elliot said, with the private property owners who are looking for some solutions, especially in terms of solid human waste and public health issues. And those are things that we also have to look at and address. We understand everyone's advocacy. We have done a lot as a Board of County Commissioners to put lots of money, millions of dollars into homeless solutions and resources, including the first ever youth homeless shelter in Fort Collins came from the work that I started in May of 2022. And we put money into that to get that started and catalyzed. So I want to make sure folks know that the board has been very committed to housing and homeless issues. And this is something that is to help with some folks who have abandoned vehicles or things parked in the street. And I just want to make sure you all know the process is still a very long and complex process going forward. And we will be having public meetings and opportunities for more public feedback. And we appreciate your engagement in coming here this morning. That's wonderful. Mr. Sutherland is a frequent visitor to our public comment. I take note of his comments about us flagrantly ignoring URA laws, which is absolutely not true. We have been a very active board, and we've had, when the new law that was fought very hard for the board that came before us, we became very involved with other URA plans. As folks know, the cities still have a lot more power when it comes to URAs over counties and school districts and other taxing districts, that they're still able to have more power to divert property taxes away from schools and from counties for those projects. And we did work very hard on a bill to try to close the loophole, and it was vetoed the very last minute by the governor. And so we have been very active, and we are following the laws and doing everything we can, and working with our partners in Fort Collins and Poudre and Timnath. And we always follow the law, and it's something that when it comes to taxpayer money and stewardship of that, we take that extremely and very seriously, and it is one of our pillars of tenets of good fiscal stewardship. So I just wanted to address that. We do not ignore laws. So I needed to address that. So with that, we'll move on now to approval of the minutes. Commissioner Falls, did you have any changes or amendments to the minutes, sir?
No.
Okay, well, I would ask respectfully, sir, if you could make that motion for approval of the minutes.
Yes, I move to approve the minutes for the week of April 13th, 2026.
Thank you. Without any further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 2-0. Sarah, let's talk about the schedule next week.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for April 27th through May 2nd, 2026. On Monday, April 27th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a work session for a quarterly update on progress of the 2024 through 2028 strategic plan in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Tuesday, April 28th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Mission Reconnect Coalition meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the Boyd Lake Conference Room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. From 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Suicide Fatality Review Board meeting in the Larimer County Coroner's Office at 1600 Prospect Parkway in Fort Collins. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the Virtual Regional Advisory Council for Behavioral Health Region 2 meeting. From 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Mountain Pine Beetle Task Force meeting. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the Board of Adjustment hearing in the hearing room on the first floor. On Wednesday, April 29th, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis will speak to the Dunn Elementary 5th grade class at 501 South Washington Avenue in Fort Collins. From 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the NOCO Impacts Awards event at the Lincoln Center at 417 West Magnolia Street in Fort Collins. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session regarding local tobacco retail licenses in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fair Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the McKee 4-H Youth and Community Building at 5280 Arena Circle in Loveland, or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, April 30th, from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Chadwick McNally may participate in the virtual Colorado Fire Commission prescribed fire subcommittee meeting. From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Colorado Department of Human Services Works Allocation Committee meeting. From 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Chadwick McNally may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Small Working Group Key Session Updates and 2027 Planning Meeting. From 2:40 p.m. to 2:50 p.m., Commissioners will participate in the virtual Planning Commission interview discussion. From 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioners will attend the MEVOS Mock Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. On Friday, May 1st, from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Chadwick McNally will participate in the virtual Forest Health Council Legislative Committee meeting. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Colorado Counties, Inc. Steering Committee meeting. From 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Regional Air Quality Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1445 Market Street in Denver, or virtually via Zoom. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Colorado Counties, Inc. Human Services Office Hours meeting. And on Saturday, May 2nd, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Family Center / La Familia Open House fundraising event, Growing Together, at 309 Hickory Street in Fort Collins.
Okay, Commissioner Kafalis. Thank you, Sarah. Do you have any additions or changes, sir? Nope. Okay, I do have a few things. First, thank you for getting my mountain pine beetle task force, and just a heads up, and for Melissa's listening, they're going to be starting to throw a bunch of other meetings at me as we have a little bit of a urgent move to take care, deal with the pine beetles, and then on Tuesday, or Wednesday, I'm sorry, the 29th, I forgot to add that I'm also going to the NOCO Impact Awards event at the Lincoln Center. So I wanted to make sure that was noted. And then April 30th, I think that was it, but there might be another meeting thrown in there for mountain pine beetle, so I need to leave some availability. And then May 1st, May Day, I think that is it. I think those are the only changes I had. Let's see, steering committees, yes, that's it. And then on, I think that's all. So thank you, Sarah. And let's now move on to our next item, which it would be the, well, first let me check. Commissioner Kafalis, did you have, that will ask that in a minute. Let's talk about the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of no perceived controversy and routine administrative matters such as abatements, agreements, deeds, final plats, liquor license, resolutions, and other matters previously reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners. And staff recommends approval of the consent agenda. And a commissioner can request an item to be pulled off the agenda and consider it separately. And any items that are pulled from the consent agenda will be considered after the board takes action on the remainder of the consent agenda. I'm going to read very lightly about this consent agenda, and if you have or want more details, you can go to the Board of County Commissioners website, where our agendas and our amendments, our meeting minutes and videos and all those things are there. And so there's more details. So I'm going to take a high level approach here. So here's a consent agenda for April 21st, 2026. First, we have an agreement for the build grant agreement for County Road 550E, Recorder Planning and Design. This was submitted by Eric Tracy, and this is between Larimer County has been awarded a Better Utilizing Investments to Leveraging Development grant for planning design of County Road 50E, Country Club Corridor Road. And this grant was formerly called the RAISE grant, which was Rebuilding America Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity. And now it's been renamed, and that's with the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration. The next is next agreement is a SS4A Safety Action Plan Grant Agreement Amendment, which is closing out a grant that we received for Safe Roads and Streets for All to develop a comprehensive safety plan action plan for Larimer on the Move initiative, and that's closing that agreement out. Next, we have a statement of authority for a purchasing contract coordinator for Alex Study. This is for solid waste, and this is giving authority to our solid waste director, amazing director, Dwayne Penny, to execute documents including tap agreements for 3 new water taps in coordination with the transfer station project. So we now have agreement, attachment A to 2006 statement of work and budget agreement by and between County of Larimer and Town of Wellington. And this is the 2026 budget agreement for law enforcement services in the Town of Wellington, and that will be from January 1st of this year till December 31st of end of this year, 2026. We have another agreement, which is an easement right-of-way agreement submitted by Engineering and Justin Core, and this is grants a perpetual non-exclusive utility easement on land owned by Larimer County at the ranch to the South Fort Collins Sanitation District, and this is a component of the utility relocations on the ranch property associated with the ranch master plan, specifically the Phase 2. And then we have a title amendment to the contract between Larimer County Department of Human Services and the Jacob Family Services Center, doing business as the Jacob Center. And this is requesting to amend the contract with Jacob Family Services, extending the contract through May 31st of 2028. And then we have an amendment to the contract between Human Services and the Volunteers of America Colorado branch. And again, this is through Larimer County Department of Human Services, requesting to amend the contract with Volunteers of America Colorado branch by reducing the shall not exceed amount by $26,000 and so many dollars. You can go online to, again, look at that. And this is through April 1st of this month, 2026, through June 30th of 2026. And we have liquor licenses. A liquor license renewal for the Enrich Corporation, doing business and establishment at the Inn of Glenhaven in Glenhaven, Colorado. And then we have a liquor license renewal for REV Enterprises Incorporated. And this is established, its name is Sandy Convenience Store 002. And we have several of these with the REV Enterprise. The store 002 is in Loveland. We also have Sandy's Convenience 001 in Fort Collins. And then we have liquor license renewal, Horse Tooth Store and Gas Liquor LLC, and that is in Fort Collins, Colorado, and that's Horse Tooth Store and Gas and Liquor. And then we have liquor license renewal for Mini Mart for the Loaf and Jug in Fort Collins, number 750825. Then we have a liquor license special event, 6% Fort Collins Running Club for their Fort Collins Running Club Quad Rock, and that's in Fort Collins. And then we have miscellaneous. We have a Department of Local Affairs, EIAF 9678 amendment request for between Larimer County and the Department of Local Affairs for Energy and Mineral Impact Assistance Program, extended for the broadband infrastructure, bringing the middle mile fiber to Masonville, which is really exciting to do that. This project we've been working on for a long time. And then we have the quarterly report, quarter one PT report from the Public Trustee and Treasurer's Office. We have the next document title is the Wagner Prisoner Compliance and Personnel Systems Certification between Economic and Workforce Development, and request board approval confirming their compliance with Colorado revised statutes and the Intergovernmental Personnel Act and federal merit systems, and some other rules. Then we have the Larimer County legislative positions submitted by our Public Affairs Office, that we adopted 4 positions as Board of County Commissioners. You can see those online or go to the Secretary of State's website. Then we have, let me count them up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stipulations for different organizations as to tax year 2025. I won't read all of them unless you really want to know all 10. So, and those are 10 of those. And then we have 2 resolutions, the findings and resolutions approving the candy enclosed storage special review and appeals. And this public hearing was held, this is the final sign off on that from August 25th of 2025. Then we have findings and resolutions denying the Aragon Holdings on septic appeal. And that public hearing was held on March 23rd, 2026. All right, that's all that's on our consent agenda. Commissioner Kafalis, do you have any things you'd like to pull?
I do not wish to pull anything off the consent agenda. However, I wish to make a quick comment regarding the first item under agreements.
All right, sir, what would you like to make a comment?
Well, just it's a big win for the county to get that build grant for Country Club Road. That's something that we've been working on for quite a while. A lot of gratitude goes to one of our county engineers, Eric Tracy, who's here keeping an eye on things, making sure that we're saying the right things. But this is a big win. It's a big safety issue if you've ever driven on Country Club Road, especially with the proposed development of Montava. That's a county road in the midst of all of this city annexation. So this will help do design work regarding the width of the lanes, looking at a bike lane, looking at multi-purpose trails and all of that. So big win. A lot of credit to our engineering folks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I like your comments. Eric, maybe I'll pull it just to make you come up and present. Would you like that? I'm teasing.
No.
I'm teasing. No, congratulations to all. It is a big deal. And even though it's been renamed, that's fine. It's still over $1 million. And it's been a long time needed. And public safety is a priority for us. So thank you, Eric, for all your hard work. And everyone in engineering. There's lots of folks in engineering that have been great, tireless advocates and working for this, and this is something that is great to see moving forward. So, Commissioner Kafalis, I ask respectfully if you'll make that motion to approve the consent agenda.
Yes, I would be delighted. I move to approve the consent agenda for April 21st, 2026, I believe.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Commissioner, do you have any guests today?
Lots of nice people in the audience.
Awesome. Well, I am looking forward to moving forward now. Our first discussion item is because of all this full room. Eric, I'm going to make you stay. No, I'm kidding. I know your items are done, but I'm teasing. Go ahead. Thank you all. Thanks for being here. I'm a little teasing mood today. I'm sorry. And so let's talk about the discussion item, which is very important. And I have to say, because it's also during my birthday week, so it's all these wonderful things. It's Volunteer Appreciation Week. It's National Park Week, National Parks Week. There's lots of things happening, and it was Dark Sky Night week too. So there's a lot of really great things happening the last week and this week, and they're overlapping. But this is a proclamation to proclaim the week of April 19th through the 25th, 2026 as Crime Victims' Rights Week, and reaffirm our dedication to a justice system that listens, acts, and advocates for every victim and survivor, which I can say absolutely. Especially some special folks in the audience. I know this is stuff they do every day. So we are going to invite Katie Perrell, the Victim Witnesses Division Manager, to come on up and present. And Zion, you're going to have to wake up, dude. It's time. So, Kate, thank you for being here today. It's always a pleasure to see you. And I'm sorry that if I see you on the street corner, I come running after you to say hi, you and Zion. But it makes my day. So thank you.
I'm used to it.
It's great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize Crime Victims' Rights Week this year, and for your continued support of the work done by advocates and other people supporting victims in our community. The role of an advocate is often unseen, and that's because it isn't our story. But behind the scenes, there's a whole network of people helping victims and survivors, working to make sure their voices aren't lost in a complicated system. Joining me today are some of those people, including members of the Larimer County Sheriff's Office, the DA's office, Community Justice Alternatives, SAVA, the Loveland Police Department, Crossroads, and others I may have missed. A few accomplishments I want to highlight are that the Hive Family Justice Center through Crossroads Safe House and Services opened. That center will streamline a survivor's ability to get all the help that they need in one place by partnering with numerous agencies. The Domestic Violence High Risk Team has been in operation for over a year. They partner with the District Attorney's Office Domestic Violence Unit, who works to hold offenders accountable and support victims. We just learned a great statistic that under the leadership of Candace Smith, who's our Crime Victim Compensation Administrator, the Crime Victim Compensation Board served more victims between October 2024 and September 2025 than 15 other states in their entirety. That's a testament to the work of the board as well as the work of numerous people making sure that victims, in some way, we're working to make them whole. What people don't see are that the advocates and volunteers who get up in the middle of the night to make sure somebody is safe and provide them with support. They're the ones who sit with survivors through every confusing step of the legal process, helping them get ready to testify in court, sometimes with Zion, and stand next to them while they give their impact statements. I'm proud to work alongside this group of dedicated professionals. While we all work for different agencies, our collaboration and our commitment is shared to make sure victims are treated with the fairness, respect, and dignity that they deserve. Thank you so much. I'm not sure, Matt, did you want to? I'm going to invite our Assistant District Attorney, Matt Malaro.
Yes, please come up. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm sorry my name is not on the list. My name is Matt Malaro. I'm the Assistant District Attorney. Commissioner Shattuck Manali, Commissioner Kafalis, County Manager Volker, and your wonderful staff. I just wanted to take a moment on behalf of the District Attorney's Office, not just to recognize our incredible team of advocates, our incredible office. At the core of everything the District Attorney's Office does is service to victims. That's why we signed up for this job. That's why we do this every day. At the core of our conversations with you throughout the year, throughout the budget process, and other issues, our core of communication with you is about victims. I have been doing this work for almost 29 years in this criminal justice field, and I can say that I've worked with many criminal justice agencies, commissioners, boards of county commissioners. I have never seen engagement like I see here. The engagement by this board and by everybody on your staff is not just commendable, it's inspiring. When we come and we talk to you about issues that impact community safety and about victims and survivors, we are always received. We are always listened to, and we always have thoughtful communication. I'm very proud of the work we do, and I'm very, very proud on behalf of this District Attorney's Office of the relationship we have with all of you. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. That well said, and thank you for the kind words. Just to open up, anyone else like to say anything? I didn't know if there's any guests who wanted to speak of their experiences. Anyone, Kate? So, okay. Zion doesn't want to bark. I know I've never heard him bark, so. No, we won't. He's resting. He's giving me the side-eyed stink eye right now, so I just saw that. Okay. Thank you all for being here today and patiently waiting. We will now, Commissioner Kafalis, I'm going to ask you to read the proclamation and the motion, and then we'll have our comments. And unless you have a question, sir, before you read. Okay. If you'll go ahead and read that proclamation and then make the motion, and we can make our comments.
Yes,
and we'll have a picture.
Yes, Madam Chair. Thanks. Proclamation National Crime Victims' Rights Week, April 19th through the 25th, 2026. Whereas the 2026 National Crime Victim Rights Act theme is Listen, Act, Advocate, Protect Victims, Serve Communities. Whereas the impact of crime on individuals, families, and our entire community is profound, and we must listen through the lived experience of survivors as they navigate the complex path forward toward healing and justice. And whereas honoring the rights of victims, including the right to be heard and treated with fairness, dignity, and respect, is essential to our mission to act, to maintain trust in our systems and our community. And whereas a resilient community is built on the strength of its support networks, where we advocate for those in need and ensure every member plays a role in providing access to essential resources. And whereas victim advocates, you all, service providers, and volunteers work tirelessly side by side to protect victims and serve communities, creating a continuum of support that ensures no survivor has to face the aftermath of crime alone. And whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week provides an opportunity to recommit to a trauma-informed and inclusive response that assists all victims and survivors of crime throughout the year, now, therefore, be it resolved, the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners do hereby proclaim the week of April 19th through the 25th, 2026, as Crime Victims' Rights Week in Larimer County, and affirm our dedication to a justice system that listens, acts, and advocates for every victim and survivor. Dated the 21st day of April, 2026. Yay.
Thank you, Commissioner. Would you now read the motion, and then we'll make our discussion, we'll make our comments during the
Yes,
discussion.
I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 19th through the 25th, 2026 as National Crime Victims' Rights Week.
Thank you, sir. And now that we have a read it, motion on the table, I'll let you start, sir, with your comments.
Okay, thank you very much. Once again, a lot of gratitude to all of you folks in your various roles. I do hope that our district attorney made it back safely or is on his way back from his interesting event yesterday. I'm trusting he was successful. And I just appreciate the comments of Kate and all of your presence here. Certainly Zion. I appreciate the reference to the Crossroads Safe House and the new Hive Justice Center, trying to bring everything together to make it easier for folks to access resources and get support and address issues related to trauma. I think that the theme is fabulous, is wonderful. In particular, listen. I often say that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, especially for politicians. We should listen more than we speak. So I think that's really critical. And of course, advocating, acting, and certainly engaging with folks to make sure that people feel safe who have been victimized by violence and all kinds of things that shouldn't be happening. So those are my comments. I appreciate you all very much. I'm honored to be in such wonderful company, and thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you all for being here today. It's wonderful to see you all and see some of you in purple like me. It's great to be here and to celebrate this. I think it's really important we take a moment to recognize this and elevate the awareness and the voices. Proclamations seem like maybe they're just kind of, photo ops or something, but really the board takes these very seriously. We don't always do every proclamation. We could do them almost every week, several of them, but we are very intentional with what we think speaks to the values and what impacts Larimer County. There is always something to celebrate, but this one especially is really important to do. We want to recognize, Kate and District Attorney Gordon McLaughlin as they came forward and wanted to increase victim services and brought on Zion, who I selfishly enjoy getting my puppy or my dog therapy, but it is important to recognize folks. When you are a victim of a crime, you can really feel someone stole your power and made you a victim. But I really feel like you all and your tireless efforts in your work have developed a system and a process and a welcoming area. And is it Deputy District Attorney? Assistant, thank you, sorry. There's lots of titles and lots of names, but Matt, I appreciate the comments you made, because this is not like this in every county. There's 64 counties in the state of Colorado, and there's 3,069 in the United States. And when you've met one county, you've met one county, and the same with one district attorney's office. They're all different, and they all are special. And you can throw lots of money and things at programs and projects, but it's having the right people in the right place at the right time with the right programs and services. And I say that all a lot, but I mean it, because you all are so valuable and your efforts matter. You are the right people in the right time with the right services, especially Zion. And we have increased those services. I'm teasing, but and Kate, we love seeing you just as much. But I just wanted to say, I think we need to really take a moment and recognize the efforts that you all have grown and elevated, and the work that you do together between all the different branches and offices and victim services is really important. And I think we all are committed to continuing to provide those concrete paths to resources. We want to make these concrete paths, and that they will be here even when we're all not here. We're all retired and doing fun things like hiking and getting outside. And I'm sure you'll all be volunteering and doing something. If you're like me, you're going to find something to do. But we need to have those concrete paths for resources and advocate for policy change. There's still work to do. And I know you are tirelessly working every day for survivors, because they're not only victims, but they're survivors. And they need to know that their voices will still be heard and acknowledged, and that everyone will be there and working for these. And I think this theme this year for Listen, Act, Advocate, Protect, and Serve Communities and Victims, it really resonates with also what's on our wall about serving communities, good stewardships of resources, being a cultivated climate of innovation and success and excellence. And it's really important that we recognize we're here to serve our communities and the people, and especially those who have been maybe victims of crime, but I hope they feel empowered to know that they're survivors and their story matters. And I think when you had stated about how you feel we come and listen, I think Coretta Scott King had said when something, I think it was measuring the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. And I would say if people looked at your department and the work that you do, then Larimer County is a shining star, because you guys really do care and take care of folks. And I think that you don't just simply just bandage up and try to heal some of their wounds of these victims that feel like maybe they've fallen beneath the wheels of injustice. I think you guys kind of drive that spoke into the wheels of injustice to say no more and try to help with folks. So I think the work that you do is really valuable, and just want to thank you all for being here today. And it's just really a great chance to recognize and see some of your wonderful faces that we only get to see once in a while, and hopefully for fun things like this. So I will end my comments there. Just a lot of heartfelt gratitude. I know a lot of the work you do is not seen or heard, but it is truly valued and very important. So, Lorinda, I know you have some wonderful things to say as always, so I'll let you end this, and then we'll take a photo.
Thank you, Commissioners. I think better than anyone, that behind every statistic is a person. You deal with it every day, and you do it with compassion, with respect, with dignity, and help them navigate this very difficult system that we have, that they have to work their way through. So thank you for that. I think looking at the room, it's full of people from across the organization and outside. This is a team sport, this supporting victims, because one of you can't do it alone. It does take many of you to support and serve our victims in our community. Let's not forget them. This is a great reminder that we hear about a crime statistic, but we don't always know how long it takes to come up with the outcome. So thank you for all you do. I know it's hard work, but it's very much appreciated.
Thanks, Lorenda. And so I have a couple of proclamations here, and we'll go ahead and pause for those that are joining us online as we take a photo and celebrate with all these amazing and wonderful folks in the audience, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for being patient. And we took a moment to take a picture with our wonderful folks from the DA's office, the Victim Services Office, lots of amazing folks. We had the Assistant District Attorney here. And just a lot of very important advocates for victims' rights and survivors' rights, and that was a great moment. We still have a motion on the table. Commissioner Kofalis, any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That passed 2-0. And now we'll move on to our next and last discussion item, which is the Climate Smart Future Ready Year 2 update. And can't believe it's been completed 2 years of implementation of our 5-year effort, and it has continued momentum across 18 action teams to reach numerous milestones, and these will be highlighted in this update. So I'll turn this now over to Heidi Pruis, our program manager, and this is under the Commissioner's Office, and Heidi, take it away. We're really excited for the public to learn more about all these amazing successes and updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to share this with you and with the viewing public. Thank you to the County Manager for the support and this opportunity to come forward with this quick update for you. We have an initiative that's called Climate Smart Future Ready in Larimer County. What is this initiative, you might ask? It is a 5-year initiative. We do have a suite of partners in the community who are working with Larimer County in partnership to forward a suite of actions through action teamwork. Why are they doing this? It's because of these bullet marks that are here on the slide to reduce pollutants, to be stewards of our resources, and to prepare for these climate-driven challenges that we are experiencing every day. We also know and recognize that as one organization, these are challenges that are beyond us as individual organizations. So this thriving collaborations for the future is really the point that's being driven home in this initiative, that we need to work together to manage these challenges. We do have a slide at the very end that has QR codes and the links to the documents that I'm going to be showing today, so I'll end on that slide. But if you go to our story map for what's been accomplished in year 2, you will see this graphic along with many others. What we've been doing in the first year and here in ending in the second year is transitioning from planning activities to action. And that has resulted in quite a few things that are highlighted in our story map report and in our dashboard. One of those highlights is the number of volunteer hours that have been contributed not only by our organization as Larimer County, but by all the partner organizations that are involved. This is resulting on a return on investment, and we did complete a cost-benefit analysis that shows much more detail that is linked within our story map report to highlight that every dollar that's being invested is resulting in $2.50 to $7 of investment for our community. The key to remember here is that this analysis was created off of the first year and a half's worth of data collected. That means more data is going to be coming forward, and this analysis will continue to be informed by the efforts that are put forward by our action teams in the community. One of the real measures of success is this transition from items that were developed by the community thinking over 5 years, if we accomplish all of these actions, we will in fact be able to move some of those outcomes. From year 1 to year 2, you can see that many of those actions were in the not started bubble there. The 56 actions not started have transitioned in 2025 to be ongoing actions or to be actions that have now been completed. So we're seeing some movement here and some ongoing effort, despite maybe some of the challenges that we've experienced with funding, rules changing either at the federal or the state level. So we're seeing this progression of change despite those challenges. You will see if you go to our story map, the list of completed actions that have occurred so far. I just would offer and take note for you that while this is a pretty busy slide, you can see that there's a variety of programs that have been put forth as the starting block for future actions. Our air quality dashboard is expressing to the community when to be aware of our air quality changes. We've been able to enact energy and land use code adoption improvements over the entirety of the county. We have new electric vehicle charging station guides for businesses as to how to eliminate some of the barriers and hurdles for implementing those programs. And the list goes on and on. If you go to the dashboard, which is another link on our Larimer County Climate Smart Future Ready website, you will see pages like this. This is one snapshot, one portion of our overall dashboard. And if you see on the left-hand column there, under the action details, there's a bar that has 3 colors. The first color is blue for completed, the second one is yellow for ongoing, the third one is pink for not started. If you're on the dashboard and you hover over those, the list of the projects that are entailed on those either completed or ongoing will pop open. So as a member of the community, you can go at any time. We do update this dashboard as often as we can to demonstrate what projects are being worked on by these teams. The other thing we've done in the dashboard this year for year 2 is be able to show some trend analysis. So many of the metrics that were collected in the first year were the starting point, and therefore there was only one metric being shown. Now we're showing some trending, some progress over time. So I encourage you to visit the dashboard, get a little bit of the update in the details there. We do have work still to do. This is a 5-year plan, so we know that there are improvements to be made continuously. One of the things that we discovered in the cost-benefit analysis is that the data that's collected really does matter when we're trying to look backwards in time around what's been successful and what hasn't. So focusing on those outcomes over the actions themselves is one of the criteria that we're going to be working on in our action teams this year. We've also learned that pilot testing programs is very important. It's important not just for the success of a larger, full county-wide program, but it's also important to explain the effort when we're going towards funding grant opportunities. Seeing those pilot studies, knowing that we've had some partial successes and we expect it to be continued is really important. And we do know that avoiding risk over time with these climate-driven challenges really requires a lot of patience. So although we want to see outcomes that are dedicated to, we can put a star on it and we accomplished it and that was a great goal, that's maybe not the nature of this collaborative work. So having a little bit of patience and persevering through the data collection and actual implementation of the programs is something that we're reminding ourselves about. Of course, the partnerships, the relationship building is the key, the foundation of this entire program. And to that end, we did have a celebratory event for this 2-year milestone. We hold this event not to just have a party, but to bring together the action team members that maybe have been just working on their one action and not aware necessarily of the actions that are happening across teams. And so this is an annual opportunity for those team members to really understand how they are part of this bigger effort to make Larimer County both climate smart and future ready. So, here, as promised, this is my last slide. It does have 2 QR codes available for you. The first one at the top will take you directly to the Climate Smart Future Ready website. There you will find the 2-year story map report, as well as a link to the dashboard. We also do have a newsletter, and I believe you can sign up at that link as well. If you are a member of the community and want to learn a little bit more in depth about what's happening with a certain action team or another one, we do have a Knowledge Break series, and this is a series that's open to the public. We hold it typically in the afternoons over lunchtime. You can bring your lunch. We have some snacks available. This QR code will take you directly to the registration link so that you can look and see what's available coming up. We have the remaining of the spring series is on the registration page now, and our fall series will be coming soon. So thank you very much for your time and for attention to the participation that we have in our county around this topic.
Thank you, Heidi, and thanks to Abby too in the audience. I know you guys are a great team. This is kind of the second opportunity for us to kind of, actually a third, because we had the lunch to kind of celebrate with our partners. That was really fun and get to connect with them. And then you had presented some of these in another work session. And so I'm glad we're doing this today. There's a lot to celebrate here, and I see a lot more work that needs to, there's lots of work to do. I will ask Commissioner Gonzalez, did you have questions or would like to make some comments, or both, sir?
Yes, I wish to do both. I actually have 3 questions and then a comment or two, mostly just gratitude for the hard work, and it's been an amazing journey. My first question is, can you give us a concrete example of how this work is making an actual difference in the quality of life of the folks we serve?
That's a great question. I think the one that I will choose is, early on we had a partnership with the city of Fort Collins to think about what does sustainable business look like and how is it that we can support our community. The result of those discussions and those work groups coming together, creating an action to address sustainable business and support of the community, resulted in a program that's called NoCo Biz. NoCo Biz program started in just Fort Collins, and with the partnership across the county, we were able to expand that program to Wellington and to Berthoud. Though that program helped support those small local businesses to understanding how they could be more efficient, which resulted in both a reduction in the amount of resources being utilized, the reduction in the amount of pollution that was created, and an efficiency gained for those businesses for dollars saved on just their regular everyday activities. Those programs like those that require partnerships across the county are the ones that are impacting those members as residents, but also local businesses.
Great, thank you. My second question is, in the beginning of your presentation, you talked about preparing for and avoiding climate-driven challenges. Oftentimes in this space, we talk about adaptation and mitigation. Can you please explain what those 2 terms mean and how they relate to preparing and avoiding climate-driven challenges?
Sure. Mitigation is the term that we use for changing the operation of a practice today so that we are reducing those pollutants and becoming more efficient overall. That's different from adaptation, whereas looking forward for what are the practices overall, maybe we need to change an entire program. Maybe we need to develop a program that didn't exist. One example of an adaptation an examples of both. The example of mitigation would be around our energy efficiency codes, understanding that the way in which technology is assisting our overall energy efficiency is a way for us to avoid those pollutants being created in the first place. An adaptation example would be with regard to our water team's work. They first adopted a water master plan and now are creating an understanding in our community around drought. This is adaptation, not just now, but into the future, changing our practices overall that are helping us understand maybe a different way to do business that is more adapting to the change of the climate.
Great, thank you. And I would offer that perhaps another example of adaptation is listed in your completed actions in 2025, but extreme heat cool kit campaign, because we know we're seeing higher temperatures, and that has implications.
Absolutely.
My third and final question, then just a sentence or two about just things, and that is, I believe our office is the Office of Sustainability and Climate. Therefore, what are we doing internally as a county organization to walk the talk and encourage, promote, advance sustainability?
Yes, thank you so much for the question. You did mention, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, that Abby Stapleton is in the audience with me. Abby also is housed in the Office of Sustainability and Climate, and her primary role has been to look exactly what you're saying internally. How are our operations within the county across departments being done in a way that replicates both what we expect from the community as well as going above and beyond to become leaders. So we do have an internal plan. We call it the I-CARE plan, but it stands for Internal Climate Action, Resilience, and Education, I-CARE. And within that plan, we have SMART goals that have been identified by departments. SMART goals are ones that have very specific goals, numeric goals for achievement within a certain time frame that our departments are working very hard on internally to improve our practices, to stay up to date with technology, to be as efficient as possible.
Great. Thank you. And just in closing, my comments are just very grateful for the work you do. I think it's important. I think it does make a difference in many, many different ways. You articulated some of those. I think it's really critical for folks to understand that the entire breadth and depth of this Office of Sustainability and Climate encompasses all aspects of life in the county. I mean, we focus on the business community, public health issues, agriculture, protecting natural resources like open space and our watersheds, and all of that. So I just think that's critical that we look at all these areas, we develop actionable strategies and things to do. And I commend both of you. It's a mighty team of two that creates a synergy, I suppose, a catalyst to bring all the other community partners together, to do the 18 actions and 50 organizations. I think it's all wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
First, Heidi, appreciate this presentation today. I think it's really important for the public to hear, and also our staff and our partners to hear how much we value this work, how much we value their partnership and their engagement. There's over 50 entities that have been they helped actually formulate some of these plans, and as a board, we've been really involved with that. And I had said earlier, you and Abby make this really tremendous team. And I know that we've established some of those goals, and implementation is always, getting those things done, and implementation is always tricky, and it's important for the success of those plans. And I know we have some dedicated partners that you all have engaged, along with the dedicated staff that Abby helps steward through, who really have given of their time, talents, and treasures above and beyond their normal duties as assigned, or their other duties with other organizations or other of our local government partners. And it's just important to know, I hope they feel a lot of sense of pride or accomplishment, knowing that we are seeing this kind of work showing success in just 2 years. And I appreciate that return the $2.50 to $7, that's pretty tremendous. I know even with welfare mitigation, it's 1 to 7, 1 to 13 U.S. Chamber of Commerce talks about because of the jobs loss and activity. And I think this drought and everything that's happening right now, this is really right in front of our faces, that these are real conditions that we're going to have to deal with. And the mountain pine beetle is one of those outcomes, because there was no winter, the last some really mild winters, and the pine beetles could survive and expand, and now we have an outbreak that's really urgent, impacting a lot of our communities and forests, which are really important, because now it's getting down into forests near very populated areas, and it's going to kind of endanger infrastructure. Down trees could also inhibit fighters' efforts if there is a wildfire, and so there's a lot of things that we need to think about, and I think that also impacts air quality, along with all these other activities. And I have to say, it's such a joy to see you this weekend, as I was out and about trying to do some fun things for my birthday weekend, to see you at the Sustainable Living Fair and the engagement you all had, and Malia Schneider was there as well. And it was a fun time. I've got a picture of you, Tom. And so it was great to see that a lot. As I walked by, I was kind of watching you from afar for a while and seeing all the people walk up and engage and stay for a while. And then see them, walking back or away with a smile on their face. So I have to say, those are really important to see, that people are coming to engage and talk about this. And I've seen you at a lot of public events, and I really appreciate your outward-facing approach too, as well, to get folks to understand this is something that impacts all of us in so many different ways. And I think the dashboard, if you're a geek like me with loving data, it's great just to see the changes and looking and really diving deep for folks. I hope folks will take advantage of these 2 QR codes and learn more and see what a small investment has done huge results. And I've gone to a couple of those knowledge break series. You guys start on time, and on time. They're pretty informative, and I have to encourage folks to come to those as well. And I just want to thank you, Heidi. You have you came on right after I came on, and Commissioner Stevens and the board changed, and this was some of the framework that Commissioner Falls had started, and you came on and just pretty much accelerated and elevated and got things rolling. And I have to say, I am just impressed with the results that we have seen, just in the middle of my second term, just thinking that it would be, some folks would it would take a while to keep everybody engaged and move things forward, but you have, and that's you and Abby, your work, your engagement, your partnerships. You attend meetings that we can't always be at, you bring us back great information, and you have stirred this to just a resounding success. Tremendous work from both of you, and thank you for sharing this report. And just I look forward to seeing what else is next, what's coming, because I think you're right. We talked about this at the national expert who now works for doesn't work for the federal agencies more, but conservation outfit, but vapor pressure efforts and adaptation. Where things are not going to look, we can't go back, unfortunately. Things are going to look different, but we have ways, if we act now and keep working and working together, we're going to be able to adapt and try to do what we can to implement these things and get through this. So it's a really important work, and I just want to say thank you for all the work you do to safeguard public health, help us all protect our natural resources. And I think the important part, you brought this up earlier, fostering economic and community-wide resilience, because this is also a big part of this. It's all interlinked and connected. So thank you for bringing this today. Thank you, Abby. And I look forward to seeing you out and about in the public some more, as well as down the hallway. But it's great to see you. And Lorinda, I know you have been helping steward this and been very intimately involved with all of this work all along. And so I know you probably have some even wonderful things to say, because you see it from a county manager's perspective. And I know you were really excited about this too. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll just reiterate that this is a 2-person effort. What they do is they conduct like an orchestra. They invite people to meetings. They have an accountability system. They encourage relationship building. They create opportunities for these kind of things. But many of these action teams and efforts don't have a member of the county staff on them. They are community regional teams. And that is a credit to the relationship that the two of you have been able to build over time. Talk about a force magnifier. That's what this is, because it takes someone to convene the right people at the right time to talk about the right things, and let them move at their own pace. And so I think thank you to our partners is important to say, because we could not do this without them. And thank you to Abby and to Heidi for the work that you do, calling them all together, getting the right resources available for them to use. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lorenda. And I think we're not taking any action. We just had the report today. So we'll move on now. Thank you both for being here and hanging out with Zion and the crew before you need to present. So now we'll move on to our county manager update. Back to you, Lorenda.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll keep it brief as well. I had an opportunity to meet with our newly appointed Chief Judge, Greg Lamons. I really enjoyed the conversation. It was great to begin to get to know him and his expectations for his office and for the 8th Judicial District. So thank you to Judge Lamons. Commissioner Kafalis and I, along with several staff members, participated in an expanded meeting with Poudre School District. City of Fort Collins, Larimer County, Town of Wellington, Town of Timnath were all present. We got to hear a little bit about the work that the committees are working on to create criteria that the district will evaluate facilities based on. So they are not at the place to evaluate facilities yet. They're still trying to nail down the criteria they're going to use. And it was really nice to see the great attendance. It was a room full of maybe 30 or 35 people, all providing their input, their thoughts around what their jurisdictions might be thinking about for the future. So that was a great experience. I also met with Treasurer Irene Josie and Sheriff John Fayen and CSU Extension Front Range Regional Director Carrie Rollins last week. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you for your work and that report, Lorenda. Any questions for Lorenda? Great. Commissioner Kafalis, do you have anything you'd like to share?
I will yield my time to the chair.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And I'll just share a few things. It was a busy week last week. First, I wanted to talk about last Tuesday. After our admin direction, I testified on behalf of CCAT and CC4CA for the Senate Bill 26155, which is increase access to homeowners insurance enterprise, which is a bill that the Colorado Insurance Commissioner Michael Conway has been trying to get across the finish line, and I wanted to make sure last year it failed by one vote in the committee, so we got that across the finish line. It's really important for helping stabilize, I think, home insurance rates for across the whole state, and it's one piece of the puzzle for all the pieces coming together that we've been able to pass that impacts homeowners insurance, which is a combination of hail risk and wildfire risk and other things. So I want to just tell folks this is also important about affordability and housing costs is the homeowners insurance piece. And then I ran to the Thompson Education Foundation Salute to Excellence, which recognized outstanding teachers in the Thompson School District. They changed the format the last couple of years, which is nice. It's an evening instead of an early breakfast, and it's a chance to mingle, and then they recognize some amazing volunteers and and they also put up the list of all the nominees nominated by students and parents, and it's quite the list. And so it was great to see some familiar names and some new names. And then they had a wonderful ceremony, probably 30 people who are retiring from Thompson School District, and anywhere from 10 years to 37 years. And I knew the one that had 37 years. They had taught, I hadn't have them as a teacher, but they taught in the school where my kids had started elementary. And Ms. Javernick, your dedication to teaching special elementary students how to read is she got a standing ovation. It was quite the ceremony, and I just want to shout out to all those hardworking. And some of them were with APT staff and administrative staff and folks who worked in different areas, but it was quite the chance to celebrate some tireless and heart-centered work in the Thompson School District. So then I ran up to Estes Park and joined Mayor Hall and I. Volunteered with Estes Park in Dark Sky, Colorado, and I went into the dark at night, which rocky, and I knew exactly where I was going because I've been up there, all my life every year. But we did some night sky measurements of the dark sky areas for measuring kind of the night pollution into Rocky and other parts of the valley, and it was probably over 40 to 50 people. It was so many volunteers. It was great. And that was a lot of fun. I was up late, but it was worth every second. Then there was a Colorado Wildland Fire Conference that was in Fort Collins for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that was a fantastic opportunity to work with fire experts and fire districts and watersheds and just all kinds of advocates, some fantastic, amazing national speakers, and some local experts as well. I got to do the welcoming and the opening, which was very wonderful to do and celebrate with that. And also, I was on a panel for our Colorado Wildflower Defense Grant for the Red Feather Lakes, and that was important. We had a room full, and it was really great to celebrate the community members who came and shared about their experiences. And one of those folks from Poudre Canyon, her work, Mary, she had worked the CWPP, and she really didn't know when she first started a long time ago what she was doing and how to apply for these grants. But this grant, even though she doesn't know how to apply for the big grants, her work early on, I wanted to give her a shout out and some of these other folks, by developing these Colorado wildfire protection plans. We needed to have those in place from the volunteers to show boots on the ground buy-in, and that their work we stood on those shoulders to get those bigger grants from the federal government. So really a bottom up instead of top down approach, and just amazing folks. And I wanted to just shout out to all the organizers and volunteers, participants. It was a powerful conference. And then I went to the 25th anniversary, which I want to just note, 25th anniversary of the 8th Judicial District Adult Drug Court. Short and sweet, but amazingly powerful. And they had 4 different speakers from folks who are graduates and how some of them have turned their life's work and started businesses where they came and started peer-to-peer organizations to help support where they came out of. So give back where they started. And it was really powerful. I think it's seen 3 chief judges. They had, I forgot his name. I should have wrote it down more. Who was the first 14 years was the judge who oversaw that program, and he came, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, and I was glad to go. And it was really just the right amount of time, and appreciate all that they were doing. And then we had our CCAT all-member meeting last week, right after that. So certainly I was a long day, but it worth every second. And then on the second day of the Wildfire Conference, again, just lots of great speakers. And then I had to step out for the Rural Action Caucus for the National Association of Counties. We had some CCI meetings where we were having discussions. And then also I had the Visit Estes Park Monthly Board of Directors meeting. And again, some great progress with Visit Estes Park. We talked about the Dark Sky Initiative. And this week, for those folks to remember, that Mayor Hall and I will be doing an Earth Day presentation tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. in Estes Park at the observatory, along with Dark Sky Colorado, and I look forward to that. And then we had there was just lots of things going on Thursday and Friday. More of the same. We did do a wildland fire post conference tour and went up some of the community impact grants in the fire shed, and that was a really good conversation and great to see the volunteers work. I've been up there 3 or 4 times now, and actually was there when they were doing the work for the ingress, egress, and roadside mitigation. And it's great to see the community pride from Henry and Tom and all of them. They're just folks like that in the community, if they don't step up and do the work, this work doesn't get done. So really important. And then I had a great meeting with some national advocates for public lands. And on the 18th, I joined all the other folks with the Northern Colorado Beekeepers Association, got my bees, and I went to the Sustainable Living Fair. Lots of Larimer County representation, great group, and lots of fun. And I'm really excited for all of that. So I think that's all I'd like to share. Oh, we had our commission, just for the public's knowledge, once a quarter, all the officials from Larimer County electeds, the DA, the treasurer, the sheriff, the clerk, we all sit down and have lunch, and we talk, and we have really strong, good conversations. We may not always agree, and we may not always be of all the same, wearing the same color hat, but we all wear the Larimer County hat. And it was a great conversation, and we were celebrating each other and talking about some of our concerns. So I want the folks to know, we're really, even though we're all elected and we have our departments and we don't tell each other what to do, we still work together and see how we can do things together, because we all care about Larimer County and want to see Larimer County succeed. And we always have our residents and the people that our constituents, the people we serve, have them in the front of our heart. And I think that's really important. And it was really a nice, warm conversation yesterday, and I appreciated that. So with that, that's all I had to share. And at 10:30, we are adjourned. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.